Hello, good afternoon. Welcome everyone to our webinar, and thanks for joining us from wherever you are. We're pleased to see so many of you online, and hope everyone's managing to stay well and that you've got some sunshine where you are. So today we're going to introduce you to the National Learning Hub for Volunteering, which is now live. We're all very excited about it. So this is your opportunity to find out what the Learning Hub is, who it's for, how you can get the best from it. And throughout the session, you can submit your questions using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen or the chat box. If you do it through the chat box, just ensure that you select the all attendees drop down when you post a comment, and that will mean that everybody can see it. So I'm thrilled to welcome my three colleagues who've thought about little else other than the Learning Hub for the past couple of years and are going to present a guided tour of it to you today. So you may have met the team before if you've been involved in the workshops earlier this year when we tested the hub to destruction. So if I can introduce our team today, Kay Fawcett, who's our clinical advisor and project lead for the National Learning Hub for Volunteering. Lynn Twin, who's our talent and development consultant for Helpforce, and Kim Liggins, who's the project manager for the Learning Hub. So I think Kay's going to go first. So take it away, Kay.
Oh, good morning, everybody, and hope you're all having a very nice sunny day wherever you are. So we're just going to take you through a very short presentation about the Learning Hub to begin with. We're really excited about this starting. We've already seen lots of sign-ups, but we really want to share with you today where our journey has been. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Lovely, thank you. So the National Learning Hub for Volunteering, just a little bit of background to the hub. Well, the hub, we started really to support volunteers and the leaders and coordinators that support them and their teams. And the idea about this hub was for us to give education and training and development opportunities to volunteers and to the teams that work with them, and to put that all in one place. What you'll see today is a way that we've curated work from other organisations, the way that we've utilised that in order to demonstrate that there's a pathway of learning for both volunteers and for the teams that support them. So I'm going to start off by demonstrating something on the volunteer learning path. Then we're going to take a few questions on that hub and on what volunteers might want to ask questions about. Then Lynn's going to come on and demonstrate the volunteer leader and coordinator journey. And then we're going to do some questions and answers sessions on volunteer leaders. And then we'll have a general discussion, which I think that Sally and V will also help us lead. So really our aim for this hub were that we could have volunteers and teams working with them to have a HE, Health Education England accredited training scheme that will help improve safeguarding and ensure that volunteers feel safe within their environment. Giving volunteers the opportunity to develop their skills and confidence, and really giving people an opportunity to have a standard, something that absolutely represents the preparation that all volunteers should have, whichever way they do that. We also wanted staff development for staff working with volunteers, and a series of options enabling those volunteers that might want to go on to do a career in care, or staff who already are working in care to develop their career pathways. We approach this by linking to a lot of stakeholders, and some of you on the call today will have been involved, I'm sure, as stakeholders in this work. So it was a co-design approach. We tested it at every stage, and at the end, before we launched this at the beginning of April, we tested it to destruction, as Sally said, through a series of workshops. We've used expertise from the Open University and from eLearning for Healthcare particularly to help us with shaping this. And what we wanted to do was make sure we didn't reinvent a wheel, we did listen to what people wanted, and we tried to create something that was simple to use. So really, what's in it for people that use this? It's a one-stop shop. So there are quite a lot of places where you can get e-learning that will support your learning, whether you are volunteers or volunteer leaders. What you can't get is a one-stop shop where it's all in one place. So this allows both groups to sort of experience a variety of learning levels, options that link to programs that you might like, options that give you programs that you will need. We have aimed to look at learning from bite size to year-long programs. So you can, through this work, if you choose to do so, go to the Open University and look at Open University programs that will take you further in a career should you want to do that. We wanted to be able to create a profile record of learning so that you could build a learning journey and to be able to log some reflections about that should you choose to do so. And we're also wanted to be able to make sure that you could give feedback on those programs. The other thing is that we really wanted this to be flexible. We want it to suit you as a learner, so this is about you as an individual, and we wanted to make sure that the vast majority of what we got on here was free. So what we would say is there's absolutely no commitments that you have to do from a financial point of view in terms of using our particular hub. It's absolutely free. It's supported by the Health Service. It's funded by Health Education England. And as a result of that, we can keep adding to it and maintaining it and making sure that the content is quality controlled to ensure that it stays at a high standard. The hub itself will remember who you are and where you are. And you will be able to dip in and out of the learning that you do. So you do have to log on, and you will have to log on to both it and to the areas you go to learn from, and I'll show you that in a minute. But once you've logged on once, it will remember you, and that means that you won't have to continually put your detail back in again if you choose to say, remember me. This is the website, and this is how you get onto it. And now I'll just take you through to the website. If you just give me a minute while I unshare my screen, I'll unshare and share another one. She says, wondering where it's gone. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. I'll share. Okay. So I'm now just going to take you through where you would go if you were a volunteer. So I'm going to start from the page that you would come to if you log on as volunteering.community, which it shows you at the top there. I'm actually signed in at the moment. If I sign in, then it will take me to my profile page. And here is my profile. And just for anybody who wants to know, that isn't what I look like now. I am not 4 anymore, but that is my picture. But anyway, you can see from here as volunteers that what you've got is an opportunity to complete what's called the volunteer certificate, the National Volunteer Certificate. If you want to do that, you click on this orange box here. Alongside and below it are a series of other options which will into those options and look at what you've learnt already, any learning reflections that you've made, and to browse courses by provider. It will also show you your completed courses and courses that you've started. There's also guides at the bottom which talks you through what the National Volunteer Certificate is and how to go about it. On this page, it also will show you the volunteer certificate progress. So if you've started your learning journey and are trying to complete the certificate, there's a bar here that shows you how much you've done. So I'm just going to show you, I am new to volunteering. So I'm going to presume I'm completely new to volunteering. And I click on this box here. It will then tell you, actually, we'd really encourage you to take the 6 core standards for the National Volunteer Certificate. You click on the hot link for the standards and it takes you to the certificate, which tells you that there are 6 core standards. There are a series of sessions that you need to complete. And and you click on then any one of these standards. And I'm just going to take roles and responsibilities for this one. It then says, view the courses to meet this volunteer certificate standard. So what you've got here is the standard. So it tells you, and this was supported by volunteer service managers who helped us to write this. It tells you what you need to know about your role. You then click on view courses, and it takes you to the course on roles and responsibilities, which is part of mandatory training for volunteers. There's a variety of ways that's probably delivered in your trust at the moment, but if you want to do it through the e-learning for healthcare route, this is the way. I'm just going to go back to this course. I've completed this course before, but I'm just going to go through it now and show you the course. So once you go in, you'll come to an e-learning for healthcare page. So that's the Health Education England's platform that supports e-learning for everybody, from professionals in and outside of the health service to volunteers and other support and caring roles. You log in here and it will ask you for a username and password. If you've not logged in before, it will ask you to register. You will register with a username, you'll set up a password, you'll try to log in, and it will send to your email a way that you have to then verify that it's you. Once that happens, it will allow you to log in to this resource. When you come to that, it will tell you what the course is, and it will allow you, you can see I've done it before, you can see it took me 50 minutes to do it last time, but I've actually accessed this 10 times. So that's my total time spent. If I then click on the course, it will take me directly to the course. Now, this course has been updated with coronavirus support information. So when you look at this course and you click on the session overview, it will talk to you about your lesson objectives, so what you will get out of it, but it will also talk you through important information associated with looking after yourself during this pandemic. And it reminds you of government guidance, and that guidance is updated as the government updates its guidance. So really important to do that and know what that will tell you. If you then go on, if you then go on to, apologies, it's playing with me here. Can you all see what I'm showing, ladies?
Yes, we can see.
Can you still see the course?
Yes, you can see the course. So you click on a button play.
Yeah, has it shown the course yet? Or is it still just showing the front page?
It's still
showing the front page, Kay.
Ah, right, that's what I thought. I didn't think it could be showing it. Just hold on 1 second. I just need to, because I've clicked on, it's now not, for some reason, sharing my page properly. How do I get off sharing this one, ladies? What can you see now? Sorry.
Yes, we can see my e-learning now.
Yeah, sorry. What it's done is it's taken it off my page. Just bear with me a second. There we go. So there's the training for volunteers. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
What can you see?
You trying to click on the button play?
We can just see the actual roles and responsibilities headline, Kay.
It's not picking up the course, is it? Just
No.
For some reason, it's not picking up the course. Hold on, I'm trying to unshare here, but it's not letting me unshare my screen for some reason.
I want to unshare your screen. If you can click on the button on the bottom of your window.
Yeah, it's not. Wait, 1 minute. Not letting me do it, Ray, for some reason.
Okay. Kim, do you want? Sorry, Lynn. Can you open?
Let me see if I can. Just for some reason, it's not letting me. That's it. I've got it now. Bear with me. Okay. It has disappeared. Let me just get into this learning module so that I can share that screen instead.
Thank you, Kay.
Sorry, I knew I'd get there in the moment. It just, there's too many screens open probably. There we go. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Right, so that's the course that I was just about to show you. There's the instructions. There's the session overview, as I was saying about COVID. So it will tell you how to protect yourself. And then you can go back and you complete each area of the course, and it will tell you how to look after yourself, etc. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole of this, but what I wanted to do was just remind you that this is about looking after yourself as well as doing your role as a volunteer. So that's e-learning for healthcare. And then you can go back to our platform in order to carry on with your journey after you've completed that. And I know I'm not sharing the screen at the moment, but I am now sharing again. So you can go back to your learning journey. And the only other one I want to show you at the same time now is I am an experienced volunteer. So if you're an experienced, sorry, I am a new specific volunteer, sorry. If you have got a specific volunteering role, then you can click on to that second blue bar, and you will then see a series of different volunteering roles, which may be roles that you either do undertake or are wanting to undertake. And should you want to, you can then click on about this role, and we'll just take the meet and greet one for now, and you'll be provided with a series of courses that you can take the opportunity to complete. And again, you can see I've completed a number of these. They're from a variety of providers, many of them from e-learning for healthcare. I'm not going to show you the Open University element of this because Lynn is going to do that as part of her cover for volunteer leaders, but safe to say that you can do things through the Open University as well by clicking on courses for providers, and Lynn will take you to that afterwards. So I'm going to pause there, if that's okay, and stop sharing my screen and see if people have got any questions that we need to pick up at this moment.
There is a question here from Yvonne Thompson, but Kim, do you want to say it so I can share with everyone?
Yeah, the question was about using the apprenticeship framework for the year-long courses. To undertake an apprenticeship, you have to be employed, and there are specific standards related to apprenticeships. And so some of the year-long courses may not sit within that framework. So in which case, if there was a payment required, you would either need to tap up the employer to see if they'd be willing to give some money towards it or pay for it for yourself. Currently, the courses that we steer people to on the hub are free. But if you did then further explore, you might find that some courses, particularly the OU ones, if they're going into sort of diploma and degree level, may require some payment. And some of those may or may not come under the apprenticeship standards. It will depend upon what the course is.
Thank you, Kim. And there's a next question as well from Zainab Jaffa. Can you see her question?
There's a question here, view course to meet this volunteer, could it be better phrased? Like have click here. Some volunteers are not PC literate and may find it difficult to know where to go. Yeah, we've had a lot of discussion about this, and we are in the process at the moment of putting together a user guide which will support the functions on the hub, so we can sort of address it through that. And we are continually looking at the hub to see what issues there are, and things like that you've brought up there are things that we will discuss and see if there's a better way that we can phrase it. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kim. We've got another question here from Joanna. So
although some of the content maps very closely to care certificate, has any discussion been had as to whether any of it can be signed off as a direct APEL for people that wish to progress? Again, we have mapped the volunteer standards into the care certificate, and there will be elements of the knowledge from the volunteer certificate that will map into the care certificate. And I think it will need to be done on a case-by-case basis by those that are doing the APEL to see if they feel that sufficient evidence has been provided. The idea is that that's the case. We're hoping that people will see that people have undertaken the volunteer certificate and will then look to see what additions are needed to bring it up to care standard, the care certificate standard, rather than making them do the whole care certificate again. I don't know if Kay, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so I lead the care certificate nationally. So the plan that we've got at the moment is to work with Health Education England. They obviously have supported both of these products to make sure that we can create an interface so that people can step from the volunteer certificate into the care certificate and take their knowledge with them. I think there's every intention of doing that. We are only at the very beginning here. There's absolutely no reason why we can't utilise it. And I think we've got a self-assessment within the care certificate for support workers that you could then use your evidence from the volunteer certificate to demonstrate where you've done your learning. So watch this space. We are in the process of aligning the two, but it may take us a few months to do that. But in the meantime, it's worth gathering the learning.
perfect. Thanks so much.
There's another question here from Claire. Will this link with individual trustee learning too? There are some modules that are specific to us that we require volunteers to complete. Absolutely. The volunteer standards are generic standards, and what we suggest is that they are sort of an addition to what the trust delivers. We would never say don't do the trust induction, because obviously there are specifics to do with the organisation in which the volunteer is that are specific to that organisation that they will need to know and understand. But we are finding that there are trusts who are now doing the e-learning for health modules as part of their trust induction. So the idea is hopefully in the future, as Kay has talked about alignment before, there will be alignment so that we're not reinventing the wheel, and it is that one-stop shop so that organisations can say, right, go off and do the volunteer certificate and do your trust induction, and they will complement each other.
I think it would be worth saying as well that if there are topics, Claire, that you particularly think we haven't covered, or which aren't part of the e-learning for healthcare offer, then by all means come back to us and let us know. The e-learning for healthcare offer is based on trust mandatory induction standards and trust mandatory induction training. So if there are things that you think we need to add as options that would be relevant for your trust, or which you just want to utilise from your organisation, then do let us know and we'll think of a way to make sure that we engage you. Thank you.
Right. I have other suggestions for navigating. May I email them to you later? Of course. Zainab, I would be only too grateful for you to email any suggestions that you have. I don't know if Sal or V, you want to put my email address in the chat box.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
So that people have that. But yeah, any suggestions that you have, do feel free to email to me. That would be really brilliant and will help with the development of the site. So thank you for that, Zainab. And then when completed, does the hub alert the trust organisation that the volunteer has completed it, or is it down to the volunteer to share this? At the moment, it's down to the volunteer to share this information, and we would strongly recommend that volunteers do share what they've done with their volunteer manager or volunteer coordinator. We are looking or trying to explore ways in which we can link the hub to the various reporting mechanisms within the organisations, but because organisations use lots of different interfaces to record their staff development, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it is on our list of things that we'd really like to have. But currently we would just strongly recommend that volunteers share whatever they've done with their volunteer leader or manager or coordinator to demonstrate what they've done and how they've done it.
Thank you so much, Kim. Just so to let you know that we also going to have a forum, a post on our Learning Zone forum where you can post your questions there as well, and I will send you the links in a bit. I think we haven't got any more questions. Shall we move on to the next section then?
Okay, over to Lynn.
Lynn, you are muting yourself now. Would you like to unmute yourself? There you
go. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to take you through I'm going to share my screen and take you through the volunteer coordinator and the volunteer leader side of the house that we did. So this would be exactly the same. Here's the front page, and you will see that there's some information there that is constantly being updated around COVID. So we are mindful we have data and training that is current and relevant for people there. So you would always see that when you logged in. So once you've signed up as a volunteer coordinator or leader, you would come to this page, and the first thing that we would encourage everybody to do is to do a self-assessment. So this is a way of helping volunteer coordinators and leaders of volunteers to find out where you see your development needs being. And it's a series of questions linked to the agenda for change. And in it, it just goes down key things that you would be expected to do, and you just kind of score yourself. So it's all self-done. It's not driven by your managers, but it's a great tool to then take to your managers and have a discussion around. So you fill out how you feel about all of these statements.
Lynn, sorry, we can't.
Because I like Blue Peter, I've done this before. You can't hear me?
Yes, we can hear you a bit better now. Can you repeat again the last point?
Okay, so once you've completed your assessment, what would happen is it throws out these recommended courses. So if you've answered some of the questions around these are areas I'd like to develop more or I'd like to learn more about, then it will throw out these courses for you, and then you can select which ones that you want to do. These are all free. So they come from a variety of sources. In the main, they come from the Open University, but here you'll see Macmillan, and we have some other providers that we're partnering with that have helped us with some of the courses. So you would then do those and then go back into your self-assessment and maybe change how you see yourself around that particular competence level. It's all stored down the left-hand side, exactly the same as Kay showed. So there's some continuity across volunteer coordinator, manager, and for volunteers. And down there, so you've got your self-assessment here. You can pop any certificates you get from any learning in there. You can put your learning reflections because you'll have an opportunity to do that. And down here, you will always have your recommended courses, which I've just shown you, that come out of the self-assessment, any courses you've completed, any courses that you've started, and maybe some of your favorites, because it may be something that you want to go back and have a look at. And if you're just looking for courses in general and you want to progress with any of your self-development, then here's the page where you can browse courses, either via e-learning for healthcare, which Kay showed you for the volunteer standards, but in here are also the training that is mandatory for volunteer leaders and coordinators. So a fantastic link to be able to go there. We have other providers here which have amazing free courses. We all know how good the BBC have been at the moment with some of their free courses aimed at young people, but there's a variety of sources there. And you can see the others here. And then if you wanted to use, you can see the courses for volunteers here and volunteers leaders in the Open University. And you would just click through to here. And again, you can search here, but all these courses are free. And as Kay said, you know, some are 24 hours, some are months, some are year-long programs that you can actually access via here. So the main thing is that everything is recorded on this main page. You don't have to go anywhere else. And for volunteer leaders and coordinators, there's also the guides in here to help your volunteers. There's just information there for you about how the volunteer certificate works. And then a piece here about apprenticeships as well. So, you know, one of the options, and again, a free option to people, is around what apprenticeships are available for people to undertake. So, as Kay said, a one-stop shop showing everything that's available to you. And I am going to pause if there's any questions or any chats.
If anyone has questions, please put it in the Q&A box. So at the moment, we haven't got any questions yet. Lynn, do you want to continue? And then if any questions, I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, the main thing is that people kind of have a go and log in. So when you first go in, you would have to register. And that is... the register won't be on my page because I'm already registered. So the registration will be on this page, along with just some additional information here around volunteering. If people, those that haven't been volunteers before, wanted to know any more. So it is there. So this is your front page, and from here, this is where you would log in and be able to create your profile.
Thank you. So Lynn, we got first question from Lise here. If you're coordinating a group of volunteers, for example, you are a college teacher with a group of 20 volunteers, can you have admin rights to overview the training modules that have been completed? Lynn, can you...
Kim, are you taking that or am I taking it?
Kim, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute, talking away to you. And admin rights to overview the training modules. The issue we've got, Liz, at the moment is how we overcome GDPR. And so it is something that has been asked for in the past from other volunteer managers or coordinators, people like that, that could they see what the volunteer has done. We have got reporting mechanisms that we're setting up so that we could sort of give an overview of this many volunteers has completed this many modules, but I'm not sure we're able at this point to say that Joe Bloggs has done modules 1, 3 and 5 and that Melissa Jones has done 2, 4 and 6. I don't know if Kay or Lynn want to come in on that and add anything to that.
I think it'd be worth... Thanks, Liz, for this. It's certainly something that we're grappling with. So I think there are two things, really. Number one, obviously, they'll be able to provide you with evidence from their profile of what they've been doing. So you can ask them. And the second thing is that we are exploring with HEE how we might interface with reporting systems at the moment that might be useful to people, but we haven't got there. And one of our biggest challenges is to identify a reporting system that would be useful to everybody that might use it. So I think we are in a watch this space area. However, Liz, I think it'd be really helpful if you wanted to keep engaged with us, that we perhaps test any ideas out with people as we go along, that we include you in that and make sure that we can find the best way to do it. And
there's a question from Claire Bancroft which asks a similar thing. I hope that's answered your question as well, Claire, about monitoring volunteers from this platform. And as Kay said, it's something we are exploring, and it's different because different areas use different interfaces. It's working out the best thing to do and the best way of reporting, and dealing with GDPR at the same time. So a lot to think about, but they're very good points, and that they are all on our list to do. Patricia has said she thinks it'll be very good for them to use, for you to use. That's good to know. Thank you for that, Patricia. Matthew Pecci, we mentioned everything you complete as a volunteer coordinator will be on the main page. Does that include when you clicked onto the OU pages? Yes, anything that you complete with the OU, you can import your certificate of completion or certificate of attendance back into your main profile, so that you've got a whole list of all the courses and what have you that you've completed and the certificates that go with them. So yes, it'll all be in one place. Katie Hurd, really good. We've got stuff for coordinators and managers as well as volunteers. We say the self-assessment questions are linked to Agenda for Change. Does it lead to any particular banding, as we know that varies across the country? That was an issue for us, because we are aware that not everybody who works as a volunteer coordinator or manager has that as their title, and many people have the management of volunteers as part of another job role. So how we approached this was we used the Agenda for Change criteria and put the self-assessment together against that. Now, whether you can use that as a tool to show what you do so that you can have a look at your banding, I don't know. I don't know again whether Lynn or Kay want to add anything to that.
It's Lynn here. No, this was the Agenda for Change was the only common thing that volunteer coordinators and managers had across the country, because you're absolutely right, it varies so much. But as Kim said, you know, if it triggers a conversation, then use it. But I think at the moment it was the only common way that we could actually put something together that gave development opportunities that would actually be appropriate for everyone.
And Gillian Reynolds, we have a new volunteer services coordinator starting soon, and I would like to link her into learning. What is recommended? I would recommend she signs up and goes into the volunteer coordinator pages. But when you have signed up, you can actually, there is a facility to change your role. So you can actually have a look to see what the others are like, and make your choice from that. So if she feels that she'd be better in one of the other sides of it, then that's absolutely fine. I don't know if Kay showed that you can change. She might show that to you in a minute. Liz, happy to test. Guessing the students could provide evidence via the certificates which they could upload onto their college portal. Absolutely, yes, Liz. I think that's the answer at this stage, while we're still working on different interfaces. Brilliant. Claire, you did get your question answered, so you're happy with that. Zainab's excited to try the platform. Think it'd be great for volunteers to also feel valued and not having to train again with each organisation. Yes, and that actually we feel is a very good plus point, that they can take this learning. So if they move from organisation to organisation, or move from volunteer into the career pathway, it doesn't matter where they are. If they start in, I don't know, Northern England and end up in London, they can still access this hub, and all their record of learning will be there. So it is very portable. Also, you don't have to have an NHS email to sign up to it. You can sign up with your own email. So again, that makes it very portable, so that you can sign on when you're sitting on the bus home and perhaps do a bit of learning for half an hour while you're trying to while away a bus journey, when we eventually are allowed back on the buses, of course. Liz Bacon, do you believe that the module certificates are recognisable nationally beyond the health and social sector? Hope so. Kay, perhaps you could add a bit to that, because that's more your area, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Where we are at the moment, this was developed with health and social care. However, in terms of the modules, the sessions that have been developed to support the standards, we've been linking those to the third sector as well. And I think what we need to do is do some work to engage all our partner organisations to make sure that this is being recognised. But again, I think it's work to do. So very early days, but I see no reason at all with the work that's been done that this shouldn't be for volunteering outside of health and care.
And we did have some quite good feedback on the workshops that we did from people that didn't work in health and social care, and they all said that they felt it was useful. So if we can spread that word, then it's more likely to get recognised outside of the health and social care sector. Joanna, we have been using the Learning Passport for our volunteers during lockdown as a refresher training for our current volunteers, but have also advised a new starter to complete the whole thing. That's brilliant. And if you guide them through the hub, they can do the standards, do the e-learning associated with that, and get the volunteer certificate. So it's all win-win, really. It's brilliant. And Joanna is saying that it's been very well received so far. So thank you for that. That's really good feedback. Claire Redford Kerr, I work in a local volunteering infrastructure organisation and currently contracted to manage volunteers for a local trust too. I can see the value of this wider. Have you been talking to NCVO? I think Kay has spoken to anybody that's got volunteer in the title, any organisation at the moment. We've talked to NavSum, NCVO. Who else, Kay? Because that's the
it's a good question. So we have talked to NCVO. We have sent the hub to them. We're at the moment, I'm waiting to talk to their learning and development manager about how we can use this wider. We've also talked to the Prince's Trust, who are thinking about how they can use this now with their big project that they're doing around people getting volunteer to career, and they are very, very interested in doing that. So I will talk to anyone really in terms of trying to do something that enables us to do stuff in a very simple way for everybody. So Claire, if you've got connections that you think would be interested, please drop Kim a line or drop me a line. V will share my email.
Michelle has asked, if volunteers have completed the full e-learning for health volunteer passport, will they have completed all of the standards in the volunteer certificate, or is additional learning required? They will have completed most of the theory for the volunteer standards. There are some areas that aren't covered by the e-learning for healthcare, and that's probably where it will be picked up within the organisation induction, because it's local things that is very difficult to do a generic module for. So there will be some things that they will need to do additionally, and to achieve the full certificate they will need to show some practical application of their learning. So there is more in the guidance on the website, on the hub, if you want to have a look at that. But the e-learning for healthcare modules give them a good proportion of the theory towards the National Volunteer Certificate. And Claire said she's happy to help, so that's good. That's what we like. Somebody has said, when we did the training workshops, I was able to complete some courses without evidence and without actually completing the course. Has this problem been resolved? It's an interesting one. It came up again from another source recently. And what some people do is actually do the quiz first to see whether they need to redo their learning. Something just popped into my head, sorry. But also, we also know that there was a glitch with people being able to say they had completed a course when they hadn't, and that glitch has been resolved now, so that shouldn't happen. With the e-learning for healthcare modules, you can actually do the quiz before you complete the course. But some people use that as a learning tool to see what they don't know so that they can go back and refresh to see what they do know. Arabelle, can this info on the hub as a service be shared with friends or others who may be interested in volunteering? Big yes, a big capital letters yes, absolutely. Share it with anybody that's interested in volunteering. We're trying to promote it outside of health and social care as well. It's not just for health and social care, we're hoping, although that was its origins, but we think that it can be useful for wider things as well, yes. So please, if anybody's interested, give them the link. That will be brilliant. Joanna, you refer to using a diary in the certificate. Do you have a pro forma for this available, or should we use local? We do have a pro forma. It just hasn't gone on the site yet because we are still putting things on the site. It will go on the site, but if you want to use a local form, that's absolutely fine as well, whichever suits best. But yes, there will be a pro forma on there at some point. Sarah Woodfield, can I just confirm if trusts are replacing involvement in trust inductions to the e-learning instead? Some are using a mix, some are using the e-learning and then just doing a little bit of local induction. So it's a mixed bag really, Sarah. It's kind of watch this space really. I know the Royal Marsden are really engaged with the e-learning for their inductions. So some are doing it, some are doing a mix, and some probably aren't doing it. It would be useful to share with our health and social care students who we have college links with and have in for placements. Again, why not? Yeah, give them the link, let them have a look and see if it's useful for them.
Yes, so I think that's pretty much all of the questions have been answered. Is there anything else that Kay, Lynn, and Kim you'd like to add? Well, okay then.
Nothing from me, thank you very much. Oh, there's another question just come up, I think, another couple.
Oh, how exciting. Richard Lee, hi, where can I access to the link to the website? Where's the best place to look for that, V and Sal? Is it on the network?
If we so I have already sent out a link in the chat box so you can see it, but later on we will send a recorded webinar and I will include a link in as well to everyone.
And then Claire's just asked, is there a way of using the modules to do in a classroom type session for volunteers that aren't tech savvy? Kay, you're probably best to answer that because you've done most of the work with e-learning for health.
Interestingly, Claire, there are people that do already do some of this. So I think the only thing you need to be able to do is to have a platform that allows you to show the modules on the screen. And I know that when we've talked to some volunteer service managers, what they've been doing is with a small group of people that are perhaps struggling with being tech savvy, they're using the module as a way of going through a process, if you like, and then doing some discussion with people in the room. I think the big challenge we've got at the moment is that of course, people are not actually in rooms together. But you could put it through Zoom or Teams or any of that. Oh, sorry.
Right, it just we couldn't hear you quite well, but can you repeat a little bit?
Which bit do you want me to repeat? How far back?
The getting everyone in a group together, I think.
No, I was just saying that it's at the moment with COVID, it's quite challenging getting people in a group together. But I think there are a variety of ways of doing this. You could do it by showing it on a screen. You just got to open it up and share your screen if you're doing that in some sort of lecture theatre or in a small meeting room. Or alternatively, you could do it through particularly through Teams or through Zoom.
And Patricia has said, since the pandemic, we are having to change the way we do our training. And I think this is a great addition. And I will be discussing with my manager and other VSM managers in our trust on how we can integrate this with what we're already doing. Thank you, Patricia. That's good to know.
Could I just add a little bit on there, just to say that I think what's really good about this is that you could actually use this as part of pre-employment or pre-volunteer engagement, if you like. So if you've got volunteers that have done their, are just waiting for their final elements to allow them to come in and volunteer, or perhaps they're shielded at the moment, the opportunity to send them this platform and get them to look at things that help them to understand volunteering better, and also to then get some preparation, has never been better than it is now. So I think there are real opportunities for you to do that. And as I think Kim said, share widely and give us lots of feedback.
Kay, while you're still on, Claire has said she was thinking more of the future. I presume that was to do with classroom learning, was it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, Claire, it might just very well be that we jump on a call separately. So drop me a line, and we can have a conversation to see if there's something that I can help you with, if that would be helpful.
Sure. Yes, I think, and then we got a comment from Joanna that says she thinks it's a great idea for the pre-engagement work. I don't think any more questions coming in. We decided to oh, actually, Beth, she says, raise her hand. Beth, you'd like to talk? Need to unmute yourself, Beth.
This is Beth here, Head of Communications at Helpforce. So it's been wonderful listening to this, and thank you, Kay, Kim and Lynn, for a fantastic demonstration. It's also wonderful to hear everyone's questions and thoughts. And I was just going to ask you a sort of polite request, really. If you do find this really useful, it would be lovely for us if you could share it with your colleagues. Via Twitter, any social media, and we will retweet and things like that, because I think this is one of those places people will go when they're recommended it from someone they know and trust. So if you think like us, this it's got the potential to be a game changer, then we'd love you to help us share it around. And I was also going to ask if anyone would like to put in writing that they think it's really useful and how they think it's useful, then we could also use that as quotes and things on the website, and that'd be really helpful as well.
Thank you so much.
That's it, yeah.
We have another question from Sarah. If you do have any information around classroom teaching, I would really appreciate if you could forward that on. Kay, Kim? Any comments?
I think this is, Sarah, this is, I think as I said to Claire, this is more an exploratory thing at the moment, because we did this for, really for individuals, but we can see how it could be utilised in a classroom situation. So if you wanted to talk to us about it, then really keen to explore that more, because it's just another way of using it. I know that V will put my email address on so that you can contact me or Kim about that.
Yes. Perfect. So I think that's all of the questions here. Sally, would you like to wrap it up? Oh, actually, we have one more question here from Gina. Could a feedback button field be added to the Learning Hub to make it easy to provide feedback? Kim, would you like to say anything?
I think there is one now. We have got one, a feedback tab on the side. Is that still there, Kay? They haven't taken it off, have they, for any reason?
I was just looking for it, Kim. What I would say is I don't think it looks obvious, so we may want to create a more obvious route for that. So thanks, Gina. There is one, but if I can't find it and Kim can't find it, I think we ought to make it a bit more obvious.
That kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it, really? Yeah. But thank you for raising that. That's really helpful.
Thanks so much, Gina. And just to repeat myself, if you have any other questions or feedback, you can always post them on the forum of the Learning Zone as well. So I'm conscious that we Oh, so we have a bit more few minutes. So I'm just going to take in another question from Susan then. I'm a volunteer, but also work for a well-known telecommunications company, and I'm used to similar training system. I would like to say this system looks comparable to anything we currently use. This is exciting, and I think it would be a great asset to all volunteers. Thanks so much, Susan. That is so positive. I'm so grateful for you to share with us that feedback. Another one for Matthew. Is the portal adaptable to tablets or phones? If not, are there plans for this to be the case in future?
Yes, it should be accessible on your phone. We certainly have had people test it on their phone, and we've had, when we did the testing through February, we asked people to try different mediums, so tablets, iPhones, Androids, Galaxy computers, anything and everything. So they have been tested on the phone, and some adjustments were made to accommodate use on a phone. So try it on your phone. If there are any issues, you have my email address, you can always come back to us, but it should be okay on your phone.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kim. So yes, so we're nearly the end of our session now. Sally, would you like to say something?
I just want to say thank you to everybody online for your questions. There have been some fantastic questions and comments that are really going to help us to develop the Learning Hub further. And of course, I want to say a massive thank you to Kaylin and Kim, firstly for your time today, but also for the sleepless nights that have gone into building this fantastic resource that really hope is going to become indispensable for people in the time ahead. Please keep giving us your feedback, as we keep saying, and use the thread on the forum to share your experiences of using the Learning Hub so that other people are encouraged to use it. And if you have any comments or any bits of wisdom that you want to share with your colleagues, please do use the forum for this. It's a great way of connecting with each other. And of course, Kim is waiting to hear from you with feedback and suggestions for improving the site and its contents. So thanks, Kim, for offering to do that, and hope you get lots of feedback.
Thank you.
But for now, thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you online very soon. Take care all.
Thank you. Bye all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.